My mindset is always going to be focused on Christ, which, yes, is the only reason I'm telling you this. I wouldn't just tell you about depression for the fun of it. Literally just turn the camera off and back on so we can get talking about depression. So, Elena, depression. Tell us about it. I'm ready. So, I feel like I've talked to you guys about the counseling in 9th grade, like 4 months, 2 months before the end of the year, and then 2 months in 2016, I think. I was in therapy. I'm pretty sure I've talked to you about it before, and I really don't want this conversation to be awkward because it's not supposed to be. And then she said something along the lines of, Elena, you have depression. Well, she didn't say that to me because my mom doesn't like me to know these things. She thinks it's an excuse. So I found out that, and I was like, okay, cool. Which, you know, if there's something wrong, some people think that you shouldn't find out, but honestly, it makes it so much better. Because if you know what's wrong, you know how to fix it, correct? So that happened, but back then I didn't have such a strong relationship with God, so I didn't fix that immediately. I just let it take its course. What I mean by that is, you know, eventually you will feel better. At least with me, that's how it goes. I think she said mine was like more of a chemical imbalance and stuff like that, rather than a bunch of bad things happening in my life. The depression I have is not like I'm not sad, okay? Like, I promise you I'm not sad. It's just like numb, like not feeling anything or like not feeling the worth of life. Not saying I want to die or I want to commit suicide, just not feeling like what life is worth. Just being numb. So I just let that take its course because honestly, it's not really that big of a problem. The biggest thing that happens is sometimes I lack motivation, and that can like mess up my schoolwork, but most of the time that doesn't really happen, so I just let it take its course, and then I got better, as one does when they're Elena. And then recently, like, that started happening again a lot, and I noticed some changes, so naturally I take to YouTube to talk to you guys about it. So we're just going to go over the changes just so you guys can know once and for all, and there's no more questions, because I'm not like super sad or like anything like that. So mood changes, I really don't have them, other than when I'm going through like one of those states. It's just a general loss of interest. Like, I'm not sad, but no, I'm just not interested in anything. I don't find pleasure in anything. Don't really have a lot of mood swings, not hopeless, just not interested in anything, don't find pleasure in anything. And then normally, if it's really bad, like this time, like last time, it was probably okay, but like this time, that I just cannot sleep for the life of me. I cannot sleep, and I hate it, because your girl's very busy, and she needs sleep, but like, just, I can't sleep, and when I do sleep, it's very restless. I'm never ever actually fully asleep anymore. It's like always like restless turning. My appetite changes. Like I told you, loss of interest or pleasure, which means all my food tastes the same. Like, it doesn't taste bland, but all of it tastes the same. That was really weird for me, because at first I didn't know what was happening. I'm talking about at first this time. Last time it wasn't like this, but at first this time, so I was like, why can I go out to like a really expensive restaurant and eat something and feel the same way about top ramen? And I just didn't understand it, but that happened, and I was like, cool. So it goes from not being hungry and not eating, like, ugh, that sounds so bad. Just, you don't have an appetite, to having like an excessive appetite, to like, I'll go like the whole day without eating. Most of the days I don't go without eating anymore. I make myself eat because, like I said, your girl's busy and she needs to eat. So just not eating, and then like at midnight, 5 a.m., I will become the hungriest person alive, and all you will hear is me banging and like scratching through cabinets for every piece of food we have in the house. And then not really a lack of concentration, but I become like increasingly forgetful. Let me tell you why. Your memories are built on emotions. If you think about your favorite or your least favorite memory, there's always an emotion tied to it. So when you're not feeling a lot of deep emotions, not getting a lot of memories, right? So like naturally, I forget a lot of things. Sometimes you stress about the simple things, like what time to get up or what time to get ready. So that happens. So everybody's different. Like, I don't know how to explain this to you in a way that will make you understand, but everybody is completely different. There are some people who are actually sad. There's some people who feel guilt. There's some people, like, everybody is different. So basically, I was in a really bad place for like a week. Okay, we'll just go for a week. And it just stemmed from like, my plate was really busy and I hadn't been going to church and I hadn't talked to anybody except my parents basically this whole summer. And like, it wasn't lonely, but I feel like because we were created as social beings, that not having that social like life really made me feel like dreary. So for a couple of days I was just like, I just couldn't find the meaning of life. Like, I don't know how to explain that, because the meaning of life, like to serve God, stays with me no matter how I feel. But like that like joy you feel in being alive, I couldn't find that inside myself. And I didn't want to kill myself. Why do I have to keep repeating that? Just so you know, it's not like that. Like, I'm not sad. I just couldn't find that joy. And then I was like, we need to do something about this, because obviously when something's wrong and you know you have a history of something, you know, like, you need to get a handle on it, right? Because last time I just let it go through its course. So this time I realized what it was going on with my body, all those changes that had been happening for so long being literally summer, so 2 months, 1 month, 1.5 months. And I was like, okay, great to know, but I didn't let that affect me, because sometimes you just have to have the right mindset. Like, no matter what chemical, whatever my brain is going through, my mindset is always going to be focused on Christ, which, yes, is the only reason I'm telling you this. I wouldn't just tell you about depression for the fun of it. But my mindset needs to be focused on Christ, happy, sad, depressed, whatever. That's just how it works for me. So as soon as I found out about that, I was like, great, God, now we know, let's get a handle on this, right? So I prayed, and this is what happened. Because some depressions are chemical imbalances rather than just moods, naturally things are going to stay the same. But because you also have God Almighty on your side, this is what happened. If I want to feel joy in my life, I will feel joy in my life. And this is how I do it. I look outside. I look inside. And you just thank God for the basic things you have, which is not my own advice. It's from a book. I could get the book, but you know that I'm lazy, and I'm not doing that. So just finding joy really like helped me to get out of whatever funk. Realizing you couldn't be in a funk helps you to get out of a funk, because when you're obsessively busy like I am, I don't have the time in my day to be dealing with my emotion. Like, no, don't have time for that. Gotta cut that out. So just looking inside and saying things such as like, God, I know that I'm not feeling a lot right now, but I do know that I have this house, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm very busy, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for school, and I'm thankful for my job, and I'm thankful for cars to get me there, and I'm thankful for outside and the trees. I'm thankful I woke up this morning, thankful I went to bed this morning. Making decisions to do that really, really helped, because what you're saying is that you're not going to let your circumstances define your mood. No matter what the circumstances is, like I just read to you, just taking a handle on life with the help of God and knowing that together you guys can get through anything. So that's what I did. I literally just said, God, I don't got time to be depressed. Can't be depressed right now. How can we fix this? And slowly by slowly, like, it gets better. Realizing that something is different and like acknowledging it makes it better. So that's the way I was talking to you guys about that. I wasn't sure if I was going to share it, but then it's really been on my heart because I know I'm not the only one in the world who like suffers. I'm not the only one in the world who feels this way. So I just wanted to share this with you in case you were going through something similar, just to let you know that like you don't have to let your circumstances like or what's going on define you, because you are still in 110% complete control of your mind and heart and soul. So if you want out, say you want out, talk to God about wanting out, and He will help you. Like I told, there's no circumstance too big or small. He will help you. Promise. Just want to say that, just to share that little bit of my life in this update series. Just trust Him and find thankfulness. If you're like me, find thankfulness for whatever you can. I told you that I didn't feel that joy, and a lot of that comes from the fact that I'm not at church, so I don't know how I've really been serving God's kingdom, and it really sucks. Like, if I'm not serving God's kingdom, at least for me, there's no reason for me to be alive. So I had to find joy in working too, because I couldn't find it in school. When I went to school, felt like I was betraying God. Hear me out. Not because like God hates school or anything like that, just because I don't want to put anything above God, and I didn't want to like idolize school or make that a top priority before God. So like school and just always constantly being at school kind of put me in a bummer mood. But then when I went to work, I realized after I got help from a couple friends, like advice, because I'm in a couple like different group chats for Christians, which is also cool because we're created for fellowshipping. So I'm not ashamed. I'm in a lot of group chats with Christian teens, and we all help each other out sometimes. So somebody just told me that like the people I serve at work, like by serving them, I'm serving God. You know, you've heard it, serve God, serve people. So I put a simple little reminder just to help me find that way of putting God in my everyday life and still having my life revolve around God and not revolve around what I'm doing. So before I go to work every day, I get this reminder: serve God's people as if you're serving God. That I'm here to serve and to do it wholeheartedly. Which means, you know, God, I might not be able to actually be at church serving or something like that, but I can serve with what I am doing, and if that's good enough for you, that's good enough for me. So doing that really helped, because I don't even know how to explain how much like Jesus matters to me and how much my faith matters to me. Like, depression makes you lose interest in things, at least me, but there is nothing in this whole entire world, no matter how depressed I could ever get, that could ever make me lose my like joy in Jesus. Because even if I lose that emotion, I still know how much it means to me. Like, in my mind, I still know how rock solid it is to like believe in God for me, how much it's changed my life, how much I love it. So that's helpful. So that really helped. Since we're already here, just a quick update on not going to church. So basically, I have been busy, and the days I go to school are on church days. I have no idea why I haven't been going to 9 o'clock service. You tell me, girl. I got no idea. I'm supposed to be going. Honestly, I haven't gone in like a month, and I don't know why. It's not because I've stayed at home, so where have I been? Anyways, don't want to think about where I've been, because that takes effort and I don't want to. But yeah, so not going to church kind of really sucks, because sometimes you just need that connection with humans and with other people and with other believers, and sometimes, like, no matter how much you want to, you can't do it on your own. You need to hear what the pastors are saying. You need to be at church. Like, at least for me, I'm not gonna Bible thump you guys. For me, I need to be at church listening to the music, hearing the worship, being in an atmosphere that is, you know, for serving God. I'm not the type of person who thinks that you're not a Christian if you don't go to church, because, excuse me, believe me, I've gone through times when church does not help me at all, and my mom forces me to be there, and I'm like, this is more than pointless. But there are some times where I really do need church, and yeah, so that was just one of those times, and I had to find my own way of serving God outside of church in my daily life so that my faith didn't suffer from the fact that I'm busy. So yeah, that's that. And the next time, we're just going through the basic stuff, the basic changes. You've been MIA for a couple months, Elena. What's changed? That type of stuff. So if you want to watch that, click on the video that comes next.